My friends, you've heard the news. Don't tell me you haven't. The news is good today. The news is very, very good. Welcome to Real Truth. I am Howard Riell, and the news from the hallowed New York Times. Item. President Trump announced on Wednesday that the United States will not accept or allow transgender people in the United States military, saying American forces, quote, must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory, unquote, and could not afford to accommodate them. Mr. Trump made the surprise declaration in a series of posts on Twitter, saying he'd come to the decision after talking to generals and military experts whom he did not name. Quote, after consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military, Trump wrote. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruptions that transgender in the military would entail, unquote. The sweeping policy decision reverses the gradual transformation of the military under President Barack Obama, whose administration announced last year that transgender people could serve openly in the military. Mr. Obama's Defense Secretary Ashton Carter also opened all combat roles to women and appointed the first openly gay Army Secretary, unquote. All right, let's get right down to it. If you're listening to me right now and you are gay or transgender, then you should be saying, thank you, President Trump. You heard me. First of all, Donald Trump is looking out to make sure we've got the most effective military that we possibly can have, and that's one thank you. Another thank you is that rather than the false friends you have on the left, your liberal friends, who pat you on the back and say, hey, I think your lifestyle is great, Donald Trump is he's sending a signal. And the signal is that normalcy has not gone on vacation. Transgender people are sick people who need help. They need a lot of help. And pretending that they don't doesn't help them or anyone else. Who's a better friend to an alcoholic? Someone who gives him a drink or someone who forces him to go to AA? Take this as a wake-up call to the transgender community. We're not saying you're evil people, and no one should ever mistreat you, but you do need help. And I would be doing less than all I can if I didn't tell you to go seek that help. It's there. Find it. Avail yourself of it. So if this decision today is a step towards mental health, then once again, say thank you, Trump. It's Wednesday. Real Truth. We'll be back.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228. Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, guys, welcome back. Howard Riell, Real Truth. Let's get right into it. Everyone's busy buzzing about transgenders in the military. Let's go to a source of clear, concise thought. Ann Coulter being interviewed earlier today. Here we go.
Ann Coulter is a best-selling author. I mean, her latest book, In Trump We Trust. If you haven't read it, go get it. It was a big New York Times bestseller. And, of course, her column comes out tomorrow. You should go to anncoulter.com, and that way you sign up there. You get the column first, and you can get everything there and follow her on Twitter and Facebook. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Great. How are you, Mark Simone?
Well, I'm a little upset at President Trump.
Finally!
Well, he's gone too far. He has banned transgenders from the military. What if one of these three guys wanted to join?
Oh, I knew you were going to bring that up to make me like him again. But I thought Congress just passed that.
Well, but he's banning transgenders. This is not right. Hey, they represent...
Yeah, so what would we do without the mentally ill in the military forces?
I don't know if they're mentally ill, but they represent...
They're mentally ill.
They represent 0.07% of our population, and to not be able to serve...
Yeah, they are mentally ill. Ann Coulter is right. And I'm not saying that with any anger and no condemnation. They're sick, and like any sick person, they need treatment and deserve the best treatment. Pretending they're not sick isn't going to make anybody better.
I was kind of torn on that. I know Congress was looking at it, so maybe he signed a bill they passed or something. But the upside is that the Army was refusing to prohibit big hairy men from going into the ladies' locker room in the Marines and the Army. And I thought, well, yeah, maybe finally this will cut down on girls in the Marines.
Well, hey, when they talk about, you watch this crazy MSNBC, and they're talking about the Justice Department, how it must remain independent, and it must remain independent. Where are they getting this from? Under the Constitution, the president runs the Justice Department and is in charge of the FBI. It's not an independent organization.
No, that's right. And at the beginning of Comey's testimony, once the truthful testimony after Trump tweeted that those conversations may have been taped, which finally got Comey to publicly admit that Trump was not personally under investigation and various other things, and that he had been cooperative in looking at any of his satellite employees, that sort of thing. He began by saying that the FBI was explicitly supposed to be, its charter is to be separate of the president, no interference with the president, and he referred to, particularly the way the powers of the FBI were changed after Watergate. It was exactly the opposite. It was exactly the opposite that the idea was J. Edgar Hoover had gotten too big for his boots. I think he was a magnificent director, but since he was fighting communists, of course, the left and the media were against that. So they wanted to restrict and circumscribe the FBI's powers. That was the change that was made post J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah, and all these departments, commerce, whatever, justice, they're directed by the president. They're supposed to carry out his agenda.
No, the media thinks that every single, breathing human being should be dedicated to destroying Trump. Every entity of the federal government, and interestingly, I just tweeted out, you'll like it, your listeners will like it, very interesting, by one of the rare honorable people left, really separating the mice from the men in the Trump era. And that's law professor Jonathan Turley, who goes through, just very briefly, short paragraph on each one, goes through, grades various government officials right now today on ethics. Rod Rosenstein, Robert Mueller, Jeff Sessions, Sally Yates. That was a good one to throw in. He starts with Sally Yates. We'll get back to her in a minute. Only one of them gets a passing grade. That is Jeff Sessions. As for Sally Yates, it is really outrageous. There's so much. I mean, to have all these government officials, as if they're walking around in pussy hats, as part of the resist movement. You're working for the government. I mean, you can expand the list here, but Sally Yates, when Trump issued his temporary voluntary travel ban from certain Muslim countries, which was already quite a watered-down version of what the country had voted for, and is 100% blindingly constitutional. It's the president's job under both the Constitution and written law to determine who gets in and who doesn't get in, and he can suspend the immigration of any group or class of people based on the best interests of the United States. In any event, the Supreme Court has now ruled. Well, when Trump issued that order, Sally Yates at the Department of Justice ordered the entire Department of Justice not to enforce that order. Whether or not it is constitutional, and footnote it is, it's certainly arguably constitutional. And for some low-level, officious female lawyer at the Department of Justice to announce that the entire department will not enforce a constitutional, at least plausibly constitutionally, at least plausibly legal order of the president is shocking. I had completely forgotten about that one.
Yeah, and the guy you're quoting, Jonathan Turley, a very liberal MSNBC legal scholar. So for him to say it, it's pretty convincing.
Right, and we ought to do these grades for journalists and legal commentators too, because we could use a little more honest ethics all around these days.
Now, in August, when the Congress is in recession, you could have a recess appointment of a new Attorney General. He would not require confirmation. He could stay for a year and a half. Isn't that pretty good?
My friends, we're going to take a break soon. I would not fire Jeff Sessions. I would tell him that he was a knucklehead for accusing himself, number one, and for doing it without consulting the president. Other than that, though, I think he's doing a very good job, and he's been quite loyal to Donald Trump. So, no, I wouldn't fire him. Before the break, item from Reuters, Rosa Sabido stares out of a church window, pondering her future and worrying about her ailing mother. For nearly 2 months since taking sanctuary at the United Methodist Church in Mancos, a small town in the mountains of southwest Colorado, Sabido, 52, has lived in a cramped room with a makeshift shower, battling to stay in the United States for most of the past 30 years after crossing the border illegally from Mexico. I stopped because you now know all that you need to know. She came here illegally. She goes. Period. We'll be back.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities is modified emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
My friends, if you want to know whether or not what you're doing is right, look at what Barack Obama did and do the opposite. Obama threw open the doors of the military to gays and transgenders. Obama was the worst president in our lifetime. And so banning transgender people from the military is certainly a good step and in accords with common sense and in accords with sanity. Here's Rush Limbaugh.
Back to the transgender in the military issue. The president this morning issued the following tweets. There are three of them. I'm going to read them as one in order. After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military will entail. Thank you. This has caused conniption fits to occur throughout the left, where transgenderism is a political issue. It's not a health issue and it's not a lifestyle issue to them. It is a political issue. Now, I'm going to say something that might be controversial to some of you millennials, who by virtue of your youth may not be fully aware of the Democrat Party's, for most of my lifetime, opposition or aversion to the U.S. military. And some of you leftists who are new to the program, you may take offense at my characterization of the Democrat Party and its relationship with the U.S. military. I'm just going to tell you how it is. The American left, particularly the left of the last 20 years, has not considered the United States as a force for good in the world. These are people that think the United States, from its beginning days, has been immoral and unjust, a slave state, still is, that it has committed various crimes around the world. We have attempted to impose our way of life on people who didn't want freedom. I didn't know freedom was an imposition, but the way the left talks about it, it must be. The left has rejoiced in embarrassing episodes for our military. During the George W. Bush Iraq War, people like John Kerry were eager to pronounce American Marines as terrorists. Some of you, depending on your age, may not even know this, may not remember it. But there was a charge leveled by somebody that Marines had broken into the homes of Iraqi citizens under cover of darkness and had terrorized women and children. John Kerry and the late, what was his name, the Pennsylvania congressman, John Murtha, without any investigation, just accepted the allegation and went on TV and started lamenting the terrorist-type activity of United States Marines. These were people, it dates back to the Vietnam War, but the Democrat Party, particularly the recent incarnation of it, has looked at the United States military as a problem. They have not seen the United States as the solution to problems in the world, but rather we are the cause of many of them. And it is the U.S. military that is the unit that projects the power of the United States. And as such, to be consistent, they had to have very ill feelings toward the U.S. military as an institution, not per se the individuals in it, but just as the institution. Didn't trust it. Always were trying to cut the defense budget, whether they held the White House or not. I mean, it's not arguable. As I said, it may offend some of you, depending on how young you are. The Democrat Party has instead looked at the military as a social laboratory, a place to test their various social theories. Gays in the military was one such effort. Women in combat was yet another. And now transgenders in the military is yet another. And any honest military person will tell you that all of this social experimentation takes away from the express purpose, which is what Trump outlined it to be. The U.S. military is not an experimentation laboratory. It's not a place to test market various social theories or issues or desires. But that's how the left has used it. And I dare say many on the left have sought to undermine the effectiveness of the U.S. military and essentially turn it into a welfare program of sorts. In addition to that, folks, and many of you may have forgotten this, but throughout most of my lifetime, and John Kerry was guilty of this too in a speech to college students, I think at Berkeley, they portray members of the U.S. military as poor sops, mostly from the South, who don't have any other future in this country because this country is so unfair, and this country is so mean-spirited, and this country is so misfocused that it's got such a lousy education. So the only way people can get an education, the only way people can escape the poverty of their upbringing is to join the military. And in this way, Democrats, many of them, including in statements at their conventions, have impugned the very people who volunteer and are offering to make the ultimate sacrifice for the rest of us. I've never understood it. What is there to be gained by impugning the people that volunteer? But this has been a staple of the Democrat Party and of the left, to take shots at them. Well, they only they do it to run down the military. They don't want glory associated with it. So when they see people signing up, they say, well, what else do they have to do? They've got no other choices. They're poor. They've got no chance for an education. That's the only reason they're joining. They will not even acknowledge that people joining are joining because they want to serve, defend, and protect their country. It's been one of the most outrageous things to me. And so the effort to don't ask, don't tell in the Clinton administration with gays in the military and women in combat, all of this, in my mind, has been to undermine it. While at the same time advancing what they believe is their social political agenda, which is a quest to make all of these things that are, by virtue of a percentage population, not considered to be average or normal. It's a quest to make them normal or appear so. And that's what transgenders in the military is. There's no place for this. If you have a serious understanding of the military, what's purpose? You know what the purpose of the Army is, folks? It's real simple. The purpose of the Army is to kill people and break things. It's not to test market various social theories. It's not a place for people to get an education. It's not, that happens. But the purpose of the Army is to defend and protect the Constitution, the country, the people of America by killing people and breaking things when called upon to do so. And when the left has control of it, they underfund it and they change that mission. And when Republicans are in the White House using the military, that's when Democrats will start castigating Marines and others as engaging in terror-type activity, believing the most outrageous charges. These Marines happened to be in an operation in Haditha in Iraq when John Kerry couldn't wait to pronounce them as having engaged in terror activity. They were terrorizing women and children in their homes at night. So Trump comes along and in consultation with his generals just proclaims that we're not going to do this anymore. It doesn't comport with the mission. Audio soundbite number 18, Jen Psaki. She a former Obama White House communications director, and she was the same position in the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign. On CNN, the host John Berman said this was from a President Obama decision Obama made to open up the military to transgender troops. Your reaction now to Trump's statement, what is it?
It's not a decision that any president just makes in the Oval Office by themselves. President Obama made that decision after careful consideration and consultation for months and months and months with high-level members of the military who wanted the time to consider whether it could be implemented.
But Donald Trump said in his tweet, my friends, that he did consult with his military experts with the generals. So what's this chick talking about?
I think this is a purely political decision and something he's doing to try to satisfy his right wing. Nothing more than that. It's really disappointing because there has been a lot of thought that was put into that policy.
Yes, there was a lot of thought put into Obama's policy, and they came up with the wrong policy. They made the wrong decisions. They made a harebrained, stupid decision, and now a better decision is being made, and of course the Democrats hate it.
And the meltdown is occurring on Twitter and elsewhere, based exactly off of her comments. This has never been done like this before. This needed more explanation.
Excuse me, to the young lady, the female nitwit from the Democrat Party. This has never been done before? No, it's always been done before. When have transgender people ever been in any military? Ever? Another Democrat jackass. Let's go back to Rush.
That's not how this is done. This should have been done by Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis, not Trump. These are the people that refuse to accept Donald Trump as president, right? They refuse to accept it. That's their whole problem. They refuse to accept Donald Trump as president. And yet these people are enraged that Donald Trump refuses to accept that women are men. And that Donald Trump refuses to accept that men are women. USA Today, it's unclear how the announcement will affect the estimated 6,000 transgender troops who are already in the military. By the way, I don't believe, one thing, Jen Psaki, I don't believe the White House studied this forever, and I don't think they had deep consultation, and I don't think they commissioned studies. They knew what they wanted to do. They knew why they wanted to do it, and they looked for phony backup support to do it because they knew the vast majority of American people would oppose this, particularly the universe of American veterans. And so they commissioned a bunch of phony studies, and they cherry-picked the ones that look good to make it look like they studied it exhaustively. I'm here to tell you, they may have gone through the motions of trying to make it appear they studied it exhaustively, but they had a knee-jerk reaction to do this the moment the president got in the White House. Same thing with gay marriage and all of these other disruptive things that are intended to be disruptive to what was and has been an established American code and culture. So, USA Today says 6,000 transgender troops. Now, we'll run some numbers, and it may be right. But my first reaction, how in the world are there 6,000 transgender troops in the
Yeah, my friends, when I heard that number too, I thought it was BS, and I still don't believe it.
military when their overall population is 0.3%? 0.3% of the population, 0.3% of the population. So how do you get 6,000 of them in the military? Well, if you take the number, take that 0.3% expanded to 0.5%, and then you have the total universe of people in the military is 1.3 to 1.5 million, then you could figuratively, theoretically come up with that number of 6,000. The USA Today, or I'm sorry, the Williams Institute study says the total population transgenders in America is 700,000. The way to look at it is that 99.7% of Americans are not. I mean, that's the way to look at this.
Hey, my friends, consider something else. With these transgender people in the military, anytime they feel like having their flesh carved into, guess what? You get to pay for it. Item from the Hill. Hillary Clinton's upcoming book will double down on Russia's interference and James Comey's involvement in her stunning election defeat, according to sources familiar with the memoir. My friends, Hillary Clinton cannot accept that she lost because she's a scummy, sleazy fool. Remember where you heard that. We'll be back.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of the Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain, helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com, spelled BioAge.com, BioAge.com, or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge of Advanced Organic.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities that modify emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom-designed system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, guys, let's change the subject a little bit. Newt Gingrich appeared on NPR earlier today talking about the Justice Department. Here we go.
One person who says President Trump should not fire Jeff Sessions is former Republican Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. He joins us now on the line. Mr. Speaker, thanks for being with us.
I'm glad to have a chance to talk with you.
I understand you went to the White House yesterday and spoke with President Trump. What is your informed take on this? Is Jeff Sessions in or out?
Well, I think the president's deeply troubled, and I think that he's legitimately troubled. The Justice Department is an extraordinarily left-wing institution. 97% of its donations went to Hillary Clinton. It has an embedded bureaucracy which was captured very, very well by Sidney Powell in her book, License to Lie. And I think that he's deeply troubled by the entire way that both Comey and Mueller have operated, and the degree to which the Attorney General has not exercised any authority over that. So,
well, let me ask you, the president went as far as to say that if he had known Jeff Sessions was going to recuse himself from the Russia investigation, which is his primary beef, that the president would have picked someone else. But it is not the Attorney General's job to protect the president. Does President Trump understand the separation of powers here?
Of course he does. So,
My friends, what other kind of question would you expect from a left-leaning news organization like NPR is than an insulting question about, doesn't the president understand? To the Tootsie who's asking questions of Newt Gingrich, the president is a hell of a lot smarter than you are. And the problem with Attorney General Sessions is that he recused himself without okaying it with his boss. That's the issue. And also the fact that recusing himself was a stupid thing to do. Now here's Newt Gingrich, who will say just what I said, but probably a lot more intelligently.
What you just said is not, it has a misleading implication. It is the Attorney General's job to enforce the law. Mueller right now, Andy McCarthy, who's a former Department of Justice prosecutor who prosecuted the 1993 World Trade Center bombings, has said over and over again that there's no evidence of a crime. So what did Mueller investigate? Mueller's engaged in a fishing expedition.
I mean, that is what an investigation is. You are pursuing questions.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You have no reason for appointing somebody with the power of the government if you have no evidence of a crime having been committed. It's very clear in the statute which governs these kind of appointments.
So the Justice Department decided that an investigation was warranted, and that included the Attorney General himself, even though he recused. And you're saying the president just thinks the whole investigation shouldn't happen in the first place. That is suspect. I mean, when you have a president...
Of course it's suspect to you, but isn't it equally suspect to you that 97% of the donations by people employed at Justice went to Hillary Clinton?
No, it's not suspect to this NPR twit, because she's not coming looking for truth. She's not coming and interviewing Newt Gingrich looking to learn. She's out there to try and score points so she can keep her job. Let's go back to Newt.
And that in terms of Mueller's law firm, it was 99.82% went to Hillary Clinton. And in terms of the people he's been hiring, these are paid killers. If you read Sidney Powell's book about the Enron case, you will see these names coming up. And these are people who the Supreme Court by a 9-0 vote rebuked.
So Jeff Sessions, though, is not a liberal by any stretch of the imagination. No, he's not a Democrat, and he's the leader of that department.
No, that's the whole point that Trump is making, is that he stepped aside, and therefore he's not the leader of the department.
Excuse me, to the Tootsie at NPR, the president is the leader of the Justice Department.
A career Justice Department person is the leader of the department, and it's a department whose culture is very liberal. We call it a department whose culture is very anti-Trump.
So you're suggesting that the president hire an attorney general who would plant and insert an entire department full of Republicans? That seems to be antithetical to the department's entire raison d'etre, which is to be above partisan politics.
All right, sweetie, you're an ignoramus, and using French is not going to make us think any better of you. Stocking the Justice Department with party loyalists is exactly what Barack Obama did. Now, did this moron yammer a lot about Obama doing that? For some reason, I don't think she did. But she'll yammer about Trump because this is NPR, and she's got a job to do.
And if you believe that, you live in the fantasy land. And if you believe the Justice Department does not have a deep cultural bias, and you believe that the average conversation the Justice Department is not anti-Trump, you're just living in a fantasy land. And that's the president's frustration. Look, he doesn't expect...
Of course she's living in a fantasy land. She's a liberal, and liberals do indeed eschew reality, and they prefer a utopian fantasy land. That is part and parcel with what liberalism is. That's why the programs they put forth never work, because they're not designed to work on this planet. They work in their minds.
The Attorney General to single-handedly change everything. He doesn't expect the Attorney General to in any way impede the law. But let me go back to the original thing. I'm personally appalled as a former Speaker of the House that neither the House nor the Senate Judiciary Committee have asked Rosenstein, the person who's in charge of this investigation.
He's the Deputy Attorney General.
The Deputy Attorney General. A couple of simple questions. What is the crime which Mueller's investigating? So tell us what the code is that has been violated that he's investigating. Second, why would he hire only anti-Trump lawyers?
I mean, we should say...
These are legitimate questions that need to be answered.
We should say that you can't demonstrate that these are anti-Trump.
All the people Mueller hired are Democrats. Some of them worked for Hillary Clinton. But no, there's no reason to think they might be anti-Trump, right?
lawyers. It is,
give
it is
me a
true
break.
that there are at least
Give
a
me
couple
a
who have
break.
made donations to Democrats, but Robert Mueller
It's
himself
true.
has been registered as a
True.
Republican.
That yes, and then worked in a law firm which gave 99.82% of its donations to Hillary. But let me give you an example. One of the first people he hired had worked for the Clinton Foundation. I love this because it's so ironic. Worked for the Clinton Foundation fighting against Freedom of Information Act requests. Now, would you say that a lawyer who worked for the Clinton Foundation trying to cut off FOIA, which I would assume NPR normally is very much in favor of Freedom of Information Act requests, would you say that person's suspect?
So,
I feel sorry for Newt Gingrich. He's bringing reason and logic to this NPR Tootsie, who A, probably isn't smart enough to understand it, and B, even if she does, she is a paid hit person. She's paid to go out and make Trump look bad, make Newt Gingrich look bad, and make you and me, my friends, look like yokels for having voted for Donald Trump. So much for NPR. Item from the SacramentoBee.com. A group that wants California to secede from the United States can start collecting signatures for its ballot initiative. State Attorney General issued an official ballot measure title and summary on Tuesday. The campaign can now start gathering the more than 585,000 signatures it will need to qualify for the 2018 ballot. Unquote. Dear God Almighty, please hear my prayer. Please let these people be successful in getting California to secede from the United States. It will be like a drowning person letting go of an anchor. We'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Earth. Well, it had to happen. When Colorado legalized marijuana, most people thought the Green Herb was a marijuana dispensary. Also, it was legalized on January the 1st, 2014, the same day we opened our new location at 4565 Kippen Street, 1.5 blocks south of I-70. There are 83,000 cars a day passing in front of our new location on Kippen Street, and most of them thought we were a marijuana dispensary. So, we changed the name of our retail store to New Genesis Health, but we kept the name of our Green Herb Supplements. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372. And be sure to listen to the Healthy Nature Show with Linda Phillips every Tuesday at 1 p.m.
Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
The associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter Lafayette remind you, no one anywhere is more noble, righteous, selfless, or courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families foot the bill for our freedom every day. Send a military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
All right, guys, I'm going to use my host's prerogative. That means because it's my show, I get to do what I want. Believe me, in all of my life, this is the only place I get to do whatever I want. I'm going to go back to Ann Coulter, talking to Mark Simone, and talking about the transgender thing. But since that's on everyone's lips, and we won't talk about what's on the lips of transgender people, here's Ann Coulter, once again.
Who would take the job?
Well, that's the problem.
Oh, good grief. It's going to have to be Jared Kushner. We're going to have Jared Kushner running the entire government. No, I am mad at the Emperor God over this. He's behaving like an infant. He's blaming Jeff Sessions.
Well, he should.
They're 100% his fault. 100%. What are his two... And he's the president. If you don't like the Attorney General, you fire him. You don't snipe at him on Twitter in these delusional tweets, and they are delusional.
Yeah, but Sessions recused himself over something that never even happened. How do you recuse yourself in a fictitious case?
That is a very, very good question, and I have to part company with Ann Coulter here. There are steps between being unhappy with your Attorney General and firing him. You make your displeasure known. Now, do you do it publicly in a tweet? No, that was a mistake by Donald Trump. But Jeff Sessions was absolutely wrong to recuse himself. Absolutely wrong, and doubly so for not checking with his boss first. Let's hear what Ann's going to say.
Well, he was part of the, that isn't what he did. So we at least have to talk about what he actually did before evaluating whether it was the right thing to do. He recused himself before Trump appointed him from anything having to do with the campaign. That's what he was involved in. That's why he gets a passing grade, incidentally, from Jonathan Turley, liberal law professor.
To be technical, he didn't recuse himself from a Russia investigation. It was from any investigation of the campaign.
Of the campaign,
yes. He worked in the campaign.
Which he had to, because it's the ethical thing to do. Speaking of what we've been talking about this entire conversation.
Excuse me. I concede that Jeff Sessions is ethical and honest. That's exactly why he should not recuse himself. Because then you get slime bags like Comey and Mueller running the investigation. And I wouldn't trust either of them as far as I could throw them. Again, Sessions was wrong to recuse himself, especially at the very beginning of his tenure as Attorney General, and especially, once again, without passing it by and getting an okay from the president.
Point two, Trump has the audacity to go after him, thinking he can fool his gullible base by saying, oh, it's because you won't prosecute Hillary. No, it was Trump on November 22nd, 2016, who announced after getting elected that he was not going to pursue Hillary Clinton.
And that, my friends, is another point on which I disagree with the president. For those of you who say, oh, anything Trump says is great with you, no. I think Trump should have put the nails to Hillary immediately. And I'm pretty pissed that he hasn't done it yet. I keep hearing vague stories off in the stratosphere. Well, there's an investigation still ongoing, blah, 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 blah. She should be behind bars by now. And I fault Trump for that. I still love him, but I fault him for that.
I was a little annoyed, not very annoyed at the time, only because I think he shouldn't have said anything. He should have left it to... It's not... I mean, there's nothing banana republic about a public official, a government official, the possessor of a multi-million-dollar foundation being investigated for breaking laws, but it's not supposed to be the president who says, I want you to investigate this person. It's not supposed to be the president who says, you don't investigate this person. But no big deal. Let's move on.
All right, well, that's true. But where did this creepy Rod Rosenstein come from?
The Department of Justice.
Well, but this is Sessions putting him in there, right?
I'm not wild about some of the staffing decisions, but that's why a month ago, Ann suggested a win-win solution all around. Move Sessions over to Department of Homeland Security and put some really great people like Steve Markman, the Supreme Court Justice on the Michigan Supreme Court. He's already been confirmed twice by the Senate. He served in Bush and Reagan administrations. He's rock solid on every issue. He's massively respected. He is the legal practicing judge equivalent of Jonathan Turley, utterly above board, beyond reproach, good on all the issues, and a strong Trump supporter. I know him. He's very smart. Make him head of DOJ, and he's also worked a couple times in the Department of Justice for Senate Judiciary Committee. He knows what we're up against, and you do need someone like that in Washington who knows that there are a lot of Sally Yateses running around. Move him as AG, get Sessions over to Homeland, because the Homeland staffing has been great. I do think Sessions has been a little too courtly and Southern honorable in his staffing decisions. But he's the only one that's getting anything done on the Trump agenda. He's the one going after the sanctuary cities and so on and so forth. He's been good on immigration since long before Donald Trump was good on immigration. And oh boy, Trump just may as well come out and say, and actually tell us he's not going to build the wall.
The wall is coming.
Yeah, so is Christmas. The wall is coming.
The wall is coming.
My friends, the wall is coming. Ann Coulter is impatient, and I guess that speaks well of her. But the wall is coming. Item, again, from the Sacramento Bee. Nearly 1 million undocumented drivers could be licensed in California by the end of the year, unquote. My friends, reference the last item about California seceding. They are radioactive. They're brainless. They are a vast ocean of red ink. We need to cut them loose to sink on their own and not drag us down with them. Item from CNBC.com. Apple supplier Foxconn will announce a plant in Wisconsin on Wednesday evening, that's today, accompanied by President Donald Trump and Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. A source with knowledge of the announcement told CNBC, unquote. Altogether now, my friends, thank you, President Trump. Item from Breitbart. The FBI is reportedly investigating several smashed hard drives seized from the home of two Pakistani-born brothers who worked as IT workers for former DNC chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The suspects in this probe are people who worked for a long time for Democratic members in the House. Daily Caller investigative reporter Luke Rosiak reportedly told Fox Business Network. Brothers named Imran Awan, Abid Awan, and Jamal Awan, and they are criminal suspects, Rosiak said. Imran worked for Debbie Wasserman Schultz for a long time, unquote. My friends, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is the equivalent of snot on a doorknob. She is so filthy, so slimy. I want to know why she isn't in jail by now. Take a break. We'll be back. More Real Truth, my friends. Stick around.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com, spelled BIOAGE.com, BioAge.com, or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge, the age of advanced organic.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Elizabeth Locker-Plan reminds our listeners that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who've had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Locker-Plant, located at 366 Grand Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized HD and speed custom process. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240.
Item from Reuters. Dateline Ankara. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan accused Israel on Wednesday of inflicting damage on Jerusalem's, quote, Islamic character, in comments likely to further inflame regional tensions in the dispute over the Al-Aqsa Mosque, unquote. My friends, President Erdogan is a liar. He's a scum. But I will say there's a tinge of truth in what he said. Jerusalem does not have an Islamic character. There's nothing Islamic about Jerusalem, but I was there last summer. I went into a men's room, and that did kind of have an Islamic character. Item from Reuters. The Netherlands High Court on Wednesday told the government it must fund an Islamic school in Amsterdam that authorities had tried to ban, tapping into a divisive debate about the role of Muslim culture in Dutch society. Unquote. My friends, we're seeing the end of Dutch society, and they're doing it themselves. Are we smarter than they are? Item from InfoWars. A knife-wielding man shouting, Allahu Akbar, has attacked police on the Spanish-Moroccan border, injuring an officer, according to Spanish authorities. The attacker was immediately arrested by Spanish law enforcement. The incident took place at the border post between the Moroccan town of Beni Anzar and the Spanish-controlled city of Melilla on Tuesday, local media reported. Unquote. My friends, when someone is wielding a knife screaming Allahu Akbar, you know that you need to empty that country of Muslims. Item from Breitbart. House conservatives will launch an effort to conduct an official House Judiciary Committee-led congressional investigation into former Attorney General Loretta Lynch and fired former FBI Director James Comey, a notorious leaker, Breitbart News can confirm exclusively. Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican Florida, and Andy Biggs, Republican Arizona, Mike Johnson, Republican Louisiana, Jim Jordan, Republican Ohio, have drafted an amendment that would compel government cooperation with a congressional probe into Lynch's and Comey's activities. My friends, take note. All the people who are here pushing for truth and for justice, the Republicans. The Democrats still have their heads up their asses, and they're still not going to lift a finger to solve any problem facing the United States of America. Now, I want to take the last minute of the show to talk about that. Whatever your political persuasion, you've got to say that you want your political party to solve problems and make life in America better. You've got to say that, or else you should be sedated. Well, the Democrats aren't doing a thing. I'll say it again because maybe you didn't hear me. The Democrats are not doing a thing. They are sitting with their arms crossed, not helping row the boat at all. So again, no matter what your politics, left, right, or in the middle, you cannot possibly support a Democrat Party where all the politicians who are elected to lead us refuse to lead, refuse to do anything to help, refuse to be part of any kind of solution, and instead are part of the problem. You cannot support a political party that is knowingly and intentionally part of the problem. Well, I think I said that quite well. I think it needs no further elaboration. I would love to see the Democratic Party go the way of California. When California secedes, I'd love to see the Democrats go with them. Let them run California, excuse me, into the ground, as they have already run it into the ground. Their policies don't work. They lie. They're racist. They're bad people. And those are their good points. I'll be back tomorrow, and we will finish up the week here on Real Truth. My friends, stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay angry. Hasta luego.